All right, this week we are diving deep into Eckhart Tolle's modern spiritual classic, The Power of Now. We're going to unpack its central message, which is really all about how to end suffering and find peace. And the key, as you'll see, isn't about chasing some future happiness, but about fully, completely living in the only moment we ever really have.
But before we get into all that, let me just ask you a question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Right now, in this very moment, are you truly at ease? I don't mean happy or excited or even sad, just at ease. It's a surprisingly tough state to find, isn't it? And according to Tolle, there's a really profound reason for that.
You know, this observation, which was made decades ago, really hits on something big. It points to a feeling that's not just personal, but it's this visible, collective thing. It's this constant restlessness that's become so normal, we barely even notice it anymore.
And Tolle has a great name for this. He calls it a kind of background static. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's that low-level hum of discontent or boredom or just nervousness that's always there. It's so persistent, it's basically just the soundtrack to our lives.
This normal state, well, the book gives it a very specific name: ordinary unconsciousness. This is when we're so completely identified with that voice in our head, our thoughts, our reactions, our emotions, that we don't even realize it's happening. And here's the crucial part. It's not that we're having thoughts. We literally believe we are our thoughts. Now, this is different from what Tolle calls deep unconsciousness. Think of that background static as just our normal everyday unease. Deep unconsciousness is what happens when something triggers us. He calls this the pain body. And that little hum of unease suddenly flares up into real, acute pain or anger or fear. But the key thing to get is that they aren't actually different things. One is just a much more intense version of the other.
Okay, so if this background static and these intense flare-ups of pain are really just symptoms, then what's the actual root cause? What's the real problem here?
And here it is. This is maybe the most crucial point in the whole book. The real problem isn't your life situation. It's what Tolle calls the loss of now. It's our mind's constant habit of escaping into the past to find our identity or escaping into the future to find fulfillment. And when we do that, we turn a totally neutral situation into a very personal source of suffering. And think about it. We do this constantly. Complaining, that's just not accepting what is. Worrying, that's getting totally lost in some imaginary future. Stress, that's just the tension of being right here but desperately wanting to be over there. These are all just little tricks the mind uses to deny the present moment.
So, we've laid out the problem pretty clearly, but this book is all about the solution. So the big question becomes, how in the world do we break free from this? The answer, believe it or not, is incredibly simple, but so profound. The cure isn't to fight your mind or wrestle with your thoughts. It's just to become aware of them. Consciousness itself is what fixes it. You can't have darkness where there's light, right?
And that light is what Tolle calls presence. It's so important to understand that this is not another thought. It's the silent, alert awareness behind all your thoughts. It's the part of you that can just step back and watch the mind do its thing. It's the watcher. It's the part of you that knows you're thinking. And here's the magic of how it works. The very second you start watching your thoughts, you're not completely lost in them anymore. You start pulling your sense of self, your consciousness, out of all that mental noise. And the more you do it, the stronger that watcher becomes, and the quieter the mind gets. Okay, so let's bring this down to earth. How does this actually work in the real world? When you find yourself in a situation that really makes you unhappy or feels completely intolerable, what are your real options? According to Tolle, you really only have 3 sane choices. Just 3. You can leave, you can change it, or if you can't do either of those, you have to accept it completely, without reservation. Anything else, complaining, resisting, just being miserable, he calls that madness. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. That third one, accept it totally, it sounds great in theory, right? But how do you just let go of really powerful negativity, like deep resentment or frustration? I absolutely love this analogy because it just makes it so crystal clear. How do you drop a hot piece of coal? You don't need some complex technique. You just have a simple recognition. Hey, this is causing me pain, and I don't want this pain anymore. And then, you just let go. You realize you actually have a choice.
So,
The key to being able to do this, to recognize that hot coal and choose presence instead, is to make self-observation a regular habit. You have to become just as interested in what's going on inside you as you are with what's going on outside.
So how do we build that habit? Well, the book gives us this beautifully simple, direct tool that you can use anytime, anywhere, no matter what you're doing. It's this one simple question: am I at ease at this moment? You don't even need to have a big, complicated answer. Just asking the question automatically pulls your attention inward, makes you aware of that background static, and brings you right back into the present moment. Now, practicing this consistently doesn't just make you feel a little better from moment to moment. It actually leads to one of the biggest shifts in perspective the book talks about: a complete redefinition of your life's purpose. You move from focusing on the destination to focusing on the journey itself.
Look, we all get the outer purpose, right? That's about achieving goals, getting somewhere in the future. It's the horizontal dimension of life. But the inner purpose? That's all about the quality of your consciousness right here, right now. It's not what you do that matters, it's how you do it. That's the vertical dimension, and you can only find it in the now.
And this is such a profound idea. While your outer journey in life might have a million steps, your inner journey, which is the one that really truly matters, only has one. Just this one. The step you are taking in this exact moment.
As Tolle puts it so perfectly, the only thing that is ultimately real about your journey is the step that you're taking at this moment. Your entire life happens in the now. The past is just a memory trace. The future is just a concept. So the quality of your whole journey is decided by the quality of your attention on this single step.
And so that leaves us with one last really powerful question to think about. If this moment right here isn't just a stepping stone to get somewhere else, but it's the destination itself, well, how does that change the way you live it? What will you do with the only thing that's ever truly real?